What's up, Fire Dogs? Welcome to Coffee Break. This is episode number 7. Today I talk with Assistant Chief Marlon Smith. He works in England at RAF Croughton. Today we talk about his journey in becoming an American citizen, joining the military, starting his own business, and much more. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, thanks again for coming on and reaching out to us to talk with us on the podcast.
Absolutely.
You provided some awesome information here. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Before we dig into much of it, though, how about you just introduce yourself, tell us where you work and all that.
All right. So I'm currently working at the 422nd Fire Emergency Services here in the UK. For the last 3 years, I was the fire prevention chief covering RAF Croughton, Fairford, and Welford. I just moved back into operations, so I'm now the AC of operations here, primarily at Croughton. So that's my full-time position. And then I'm also in the reserves as a captain. I just got back into the Air Force. So I'm now going to be a logistician with the 38th Airport Squadron. And today I hit 17 years of service in the reserves. So it's been an awesome journey serving in the fire service, simultaneously as well serving in the military. And that it all started with being a firefighter in the Air National Guard.
Yeah, how'd you get into the reserves or even logistics?
Well, I think we're all kind of in logistics, but yeah, it's been a journey. So for me, in 2002, I was meeting with recruiters. After 9/11 happened, I think we all had that feeling of wanting to serve, but I actually wasn't a citizen. So at that time, I was pursuing becoming a citizen. I was originally from Canada. My folks moved down and they never became citizens. So I was like, I really want to pursue this. So I was going through the process. I was in college and a lot of my friends were Rangers, special ops guys, folks from my church. And I was doing different jobs and different things. And I'd worked on boats for a few years as part of a tight crew. And, as I was pursuing the citizenship piece, I just had this really this passion of wanting to serve more. And I remember getting naturalized up in Atlanta and I'm looking out in the room, Matt, and I'm seeing, 25 individuals from 25 different countries all swearing in at the same time. And it was heavy. And I think within 3 or 4 weeks, I was meeting with recruiters and I was like, this is it. This is what I've done different jobs, but I feel like I have a calling to do something else. Initially, it was going to be Army. At that time, they were really pursuing infantry. If you could remember back in 2002 and 2003, it was ramping up. And I just felt like my calling wasn't pulling me that direction. I felt like I wanted to help people in a different way and respond. So I kind of stepped out of the Army recruiter's office and jumped to the Air Force Reserve, actually Air National Guard. And they were reading some jobs. And I think one of the second or third one was being part of a team, being a fire apprentice, being part of a team. And that was it. It was just like, that's it. Growing up on the West Coast in California originally, that, being a firefighter it feels like something unobtainable. It's very competitive. So it's like, wow, so not only do I get to serve, I just became a citizen and now I'm going to pursue this. No idea what I was in for. So went to, basic and then directly after tech school at Goodfellow and started the journey. And I also at the same time kind of started another journey, which is when I started in real estate. Because while I was gone, I rented out my house to three people I knew. And I got I was like, oh, this is something I could do as well. I'm making more money doing this than I am as a one striper. So I was like, oh, this is, so that journey kind of started. But yeah, getting through basic and then tech school and that journey there, just stayed in Texas for about 6 months and not having any clue what I was in for, but it just, I loved every minute of it. And I knew that was it. So I came back and right away I was looking for city jobs to become a city firefighter.
So you're a citizen of Canada, right?
I am.
If I'm understanding right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You certainly hit the ground running. So become a citizen of the United States. Okay. Let me go join the military. All right. I'm going to start a real estate business, really jump head first into it. I'd say you made the
Yeah.
right decision, probably taking a step into the Air Force office.
Yeah, I think what it did is it just kind of amplified structure and discipline. I had some things, they're rough, right? Like you're a rock and you're just kind of, you're getting polished up a little bit. I think that's what the Air Force did for me. I was a bit older. I was 21 at the time. So I had some college, and I'm just like seeing one thing after the other. So, right. So I'm renting my house out. I'm getting to join this amazing, this amazing, brotherhoods. It's incredible. And I'm meeting folks. The real estate piece is coming up, and then the education piece. And I'm going, I didn't know about community college of the Air Force. So I'm finishing up tech school, and I come back, and I had about 13 or 14 hours from the college I was going to in Savannah, Georgia. And I come back, and I'm like, man, I've got the tech school piece, and I'm almost done with the associate's degree. So, I kind of laid out some things when we were talking earlier about what the service has meant to me, but it's just, there's been hard work that's come with it. But to me, there's just all these benefits that you just kind of get. Sometimes you appreciate it, and sometimes you reflect back on it. And to me, that's what's excited me about this podcast, to kind of share this journey with you guys and maybe go, hey, there's a lot you can do with the Air Force. And I kind of wanted to tap into that. And I can obviously continue the story, but I want to make sure, where you want to go next.
Well, I would like to dig into it.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably take a lot of our opportunities for granted, especially if we are American citizens. And because you talk to every once in a while people that came to the United States to kind of pursue, their life dreams or whatever they want to do.
Right.
And they seem to kind of have sometimes on average just a little bit higher of a level of excitement when it comes to pursuing their goals,
I wanted to talk about that immigration piece for me. So I talked about my journey a little bit. So I am the grandson of an immigrant from Portugal. Came over in 1952. My grandfather, Antonio, came over. He was a farmer making virtually nothing in Portugal, left my grandmother and my mom behind, Portugal for 4 years. And started that. And I look back on that and I go, hey, basic can maybe, that might's a little tough. Fire school's a little tough. And I think about all the stuff he went through, and that motivates me, right? And there's this, I don't know if you've seen the show Hamilton or listened to the musical, there's a reference to immigrants, getting it done. And there's something about that hunger, that humbleness and hunger, that I really feel that is palpable. And you'll see that in a lot of folks that go, realize like what I had to go through being an immigrant. I was a legal alien till I was about 20. So going to the naturalization office, renewing my green card. So it's just, and knowing that my grandfather went through that, not speaking any English, and that motivates me and drives me, So being the second one in my family with a college degree, where I didn't think that would happen. But again, there's the Air Force, providing me that opportunity. So having that drive, that's great, but then capitalizing on it, and then, developing that. And then, like I said, being enlisted and going, man, I've got a hunger for this, but I want to continue. Right. So getting that CCAF, graduating with that and going, wow, like all these schools accept it, Matt. All these schools accept a CCAF degree. So you can continue to advance. And so I did that. I went to Grand Canyon University, which is, I think, where Chief Smith went as well. And I think he actually teaches there. And then, and then the fire service kind of, that leadership piece of being an NCO, being a sergeant. And I was like, I'm also an EMT. So I was like, I want to be a medic. So I cross-trained, in 2008. And I was like, 2009, 2008, I think it was 2009, and went to 4.0 school. And again, another testament to the Air Force. You don't have to. I still was serving as a firefighter on the outside, but in the reserve and guard, I wanted to continue that journey.
Yeah, you're just fired up and just knocking it all out.
I was just like, there's so many opportunities. I was just like, you don't have to. You can pursue that for 10, 12 years. And I loved what Chief Smith said. Like, he was, how he kind of, he kind of somewhere in there, he just got this fire, and it was like, all right, this is my career. This is what I'm going to pursue. I never left the fire service, but I felt like with the military and the structure and the amazing schools that are offered, I was like, I was interested in EMS, so I just kind of jumped on that, and I'm glad I did. Because that took me on a deployment that I really think changed my life and then set me up to get commissioned. So
where'd you go?
So I went to Qatar, but while I was there, there's again a perception of how you expect reserves to act in deployment. There's kind of I think a misperception of what you're getting out of reservist or guardman. Like what do they do on the outside? But a lot of, and you probably know this, guard and reserve are city firemen, or they're working for ambulance services, or they're working as nurses. And I've met a lot of mechanics that even work in vehicle maintenance that are charge nurses in the ER.
Yeah, so sometimes the deployments are a bit of a break for them.
Yeah, exactly. So I get there. Yeah, I get there, and I'm given this opportunity. I'm working in the clinic, but they go, hey, we got this nurse who's leaving. She's an OR nurse. We looked at your resume, you being a firefighter. We've got this position for you being the NCOIC of the Inner Theater Care Program. And I'm like, what's that? Like, well, we're going to be sending you 40 patients a month. You've got 20 that are mobile and 20 that are non-mobile. You got 45 days to assess their mental health and redeploy them in theater. And that was it for me. I was like, that's it. And I had every branch of service, every rank from 06 to E2, Navy, Coast Guard. And I'd muster with them every morning. Sometimes I'd scrub in on their surgeries. And I just, and then we didn't have a mental health piece in place, but that was something I kind of worked with the chaplaincy there. But Matt, that really pushed me going, I'm ready, right? Like, I know I can lead at the next level. So I'd been a little, I'd say not passive, but not as aggressive as I wanted to be. And the relationships that I made and, running that program as an NCOIC, as a staff, and that responsibility, and then being just a guardsman, but being given that, I had to earn it every minute of it, but it changed my life. And I don't know if you've had one of these, but I call them a deployment epiphanies, where you're deployed, you're away from your loved ones. I was away from my wife. And I remember thinking to myself, what are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? I have time to think besides working out. And for me, it was like, all right, I want to establish the real estate business. I've been talking about it. I dabbling, like I told you, renting out a house that I lived in or whatever, but I want to go full throttle. I want to start buying rental properties. So I was like, all right, so this is going to write this crazy list. So I say, okay, I'm going to do that. And I want to get my commission. So like, I'm going to pursue that. And I'm thinking about it. This is a nuts list. There's no way right now. And then I think the final piece was, I used to work on boats. I did that for about 4 years. I traveled around the world before I joined the service as well. Wow. That's a whole other story. I do have time. It'd be 2 coffee breaks. But I wanted to get my captain's license. So I thought it'd be really awesome to kind of go back, push myself, because I had the sea time. When you pursue getting your merchant mariner's credential, let's say you want to be like a captain and take people out fishing or run a tug or something, you got to have sea time. Like, that's not something you can just test for. So I was able to reach out to my captain while I was deployed and just start and I came back, and that was it. I was like, all right, here's my ridiculous goals while I'm at, on deployment. And also I wanted to the big one was becoming a father as well. So, I just, a lot of time to think and absorb things while I wasn't working, full time back in the States. I was, taking care of these folks over here and feeling really inspired every day, right? Just that to me, it was like in the Guard and Reserve, you train, but then actually doing the mission, taking care of patients as a medic, it really just changed my life. And I came back in 2011, and it was just that fire. It was like, all right, now I'm going to attack, right? So I'm going to start meeting with recruiters. I'm going to set some goals and some deadlines, and then getting with my brother-in-law at the time, who was doing real estate, and then we just started buying rental properties, about 1 or 2 a year, starting in 2011. And then studying for my captain's license. And then, the baby stuff, well, that's just, that's that nature. Too, huh? Getting towards that. But yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, a very impressive list of accomplishments And like you said, we probably could talk to you in length on that. I really appreciate you sharing all this, Marlon. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish up?
No. I just, to me, I really wanted to harp on what the service has offered me. And, as an immigrant, as someone who didn't have a degree, had a couple hours to college, not exactly sure, had ideas of what I wanted to do, but just going, man, I'm now part of the fire service, part of the military. I'm a citizen. I just, I really think the Air Force set me up for a lot of things. And I feel appreciative for that and some of the relationships I've made throughout the years. I kind of wanted to share that. And, I hope folks recognize those benefits, the things that are offered to you, and they take advantage.
Yeah, we have great opportunities, and your drive is infectious, and I think our listeners are going to like that. And again, I appreciate you sharing your story, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to have direct access to hundreds of other fire dogs, from brand new airmen to seasoned fire chiefs? That's exactly what you'll find over at our Facebook mentorship group. This is our challenge to you. Take an active role in your development and the development of others. Go seek out mentorship. Connect with other firefighters and hone your craft. Go to facebook.com/groups/Fire Dog Mentorship today to join in.